Day 5 of the World Cup, and it started with Switzerland beating Cameroon 1-0, with Embolo scoring the goal against the country that he was born in. So, respectfully, didn't really celebrate. And second match we had was Uruguay versus South Korea, and this match was the first World Cup game this century with zero shots on target. So something that will come on when we cover the other matches is all about the kind of games that we're seeing and the state of football at the moment as well. So yeah, Uruguay versus South Korea 0-0, and something about that game which I noticed was when the defenders had the ball and the camera angle, and this might be a bit of something what I noticed as a coach as well. I was noticing the camera angle, and it was like zoomed in, and you can't see the runners off the ball or really the options that the guy on the ball has. And for me, I was thinking to myself, how does that affect the viewers and the way that they see football as well? So, for example, if you're a child and you're watching the match, your focus is just on the ball because that's how far the camera zoomed in. That there's only a certain amount of players that you can see on your screen anyway. So you're not able to see the wider picture or think to yourself, oh, that pass was on, or this pass was on, or he shouldn't play that pass, or a wider picture of what the player may be able to see. So I'm just wondering how that affects how people see football. And then when, say for example, if your kid, how when you go and play football, how does that affect you as a player as well? So I think it's a bigger conversation than what we can have just in this podcast, but it's something that I've noticed in other matches when the camera is that zoomed in. So that's something to think about. Something I might do a podcast on that subject. What else from the Uruguay match? So yeah, like I said, not a lot of chances really. Not zero shots on target. And what else can you really say about that game? So we'll move on to Portugal 3, Ghana 2. Another match. Um, Ghana in the first half looked like they were going to cause themselves own problems with some of their passing out the back, and sometimes when they were turning with the ball towards their own goal. I was thinking to myself, there's a mistake coming up soon. Mistake coming up. Um, they got away with it in the first half, really. Second half, we had the first goal, which was a penalty from Cristiano Ronaldo, and the foul was actually on him as well. When I say foul loosely because I don't think it was a penalty. Um, I don't know how you can give a penalty for that. He's going away from goal. For me, he's taken a dive. And when people talk about Cristiano, he's got this body, amazing body, spends all this time in the gym, so strong. For me, there's too many instances like that for me when I watch him play and he goes down easy. And you might say, well, if he's felt contact in the box, he's got every right to. But for me, you can't give a penalty for that. Can't give a penalty for that. And he scored a good finish from the penalty spot. And he becomes the first player to score in 5 consecutive World Cups. It must be any 5 World Cups because no one's going to play in like 6 World Cups and miss one in between. So yeah. Um, and he's the second player to captain a country at a World Cup without actually being attached to a team. The first being Bruce Wilson for Canada in 1986. So it was the second half picked up quite a lot, and then Ghana actually got back into the match as well. Uh, just after Ayew was taken off. No, I think that was for the second goal. He got taken off and they scored. So got to 3-1, then 3-2 to Ghana in the 89th minute. Another ball down the left, and Cancelo, who had pretty poor game, got beat too easily, and then it was 3-2. And then right at the end of the match, Costa, the goalkeeper, the camera wasn't even on it. I think the camera was on like another picture, and then he had dropped the ball, the replay showed, and Inaki Williams was behind him, and then Inaki Williams actually gets the ball, but he slips, and if he doesn't slip, it's certain to be a goal. I don't think there's any way that he can miss. I'm pretty sure he would have got the ball, gone round, and just slotted in, but he slips, and the chance for the 3-3 is out the window. So Ghana could have nicked something right at the end there, but again, they looked very open, Ghana. And if you look at Portugal even, it looked as if Portugal are a team that doesn't want the ball. They want to counter-attack, because with the players that they've got in their team, they should be taking authority. The players are good enough to be taking the initiative in the matches and creating. I think a lot of the threats are going to come from crosses, looking for Ronaldo or to the far post. So against teams that are going to have possession, like say maybe a Spain team who like to dominate possession, maybe Portugal will find a match like that better suited to them. So they got through that match, Portugal, but I think they were a bit lucky. It's a bit similar to Belgium yesterday. They kind of got away with one there. So they've won 3-2. And then last match we had, which is just finished, was the Brazil 2, Serbia 0. 2 goals from Richarlison. And Serbia looked pretty good in the first half. I thought they were comfortable on the ball. They looked control, and it looked like they knew what they were doing, and they were making it hard for Brazil. And I think in the second half, after the goal especially, there were just chances galore for Brazil, just chances galore. The goal, Richarlison's second goal, was spectacular goal, and I think that was when Neymar was still on the pitch. Maybe he got taken off soon after that, but after that, Brazil had numerous chances. I think they hit the post or the bar 2 or 3 times in the match as well. Long range efforts, quite a lot. So Brazil, towards the end anyway, looked like shackles are taken off them a little bit with the first goal, playing with a bit of freedom. And they're going to be a tough team to play against. They're going to be a real tough team to play against. And again, something that I'll allude to in terms of Uruguay and South Korea, no shots on target for either team. And I don't think Serbia had a shot on target against Brazil either. So it's not just like you're not having a goal scorer and you're not being able to take chances, but attempts on goal as well. So in terms of how teams and football is nowadays, because if you look at Brazil, they reminded me a bit of Real Madrid in the sense that they can just be solid, and then they've got all that quality up front just to cause a difference. Vinicius, Neymar, Richarlison, even the subs that come on, you got Jesus, however you want to pronounce it, and then you've got I forgot his name now, Anthony from Man United. So they've got real quality, and Rafinha as well, even though some of the chances that he has should be doing better with his finishing. So the way football is nowadays, so maybe it's indicative of that in the sense that it's very structured. And if players are fit, um, it's easy for the managers to construct a team that's solid, and especially now tactically, so much videos that you can do on that position as well. But how many teams are there that have got those creative players and are going to create a lot of chances and can do that magic? So it's all right being good defensively, but you have to have that magic and killing instinct up front as well. And I'm not sure if it's like I said, indicative of the way football is nowadays, with like everybody being coached so much rigidness in football. Um, Today, so we had 1-0 Switzerland against Cameroon, 0-0 Uruguay, South Korea, Portugal 3-2 against Ghana, Brazil 2-0 against Serbia. So if you average it out, that's 2 goals a match. So I'm not sure if that's higher or lower than other same stages in other World Cups, or whether the first group stage teams are being a bit more defensive because they don't want to lose their first match, because then obviously that puts a lot more pressure for the second matches, whether they think, all right, we can take a draw in the first match and then we can see how other results have panned out. But like for me, France, obviously with Kylian Mbappe, have got that threat, like in the wide areas, that pace, and that can cause damage to teams like in a blink of an eye. Brazil are the same. Um, Possibly England might have the players for it. Whether they've got the same instincts as the other two teams I just mentioned, I'm not sure. Spain are a different sort of team where they're more possession based. What else? Yeah, so the way football I don't know if a team's going to be able to win it unless they have that threat. Um, Best defensive team like grinding out 1-0s, I'm not sure you're going to be able to win a World Cup like that. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the later rounds now. Now that all the first group stage matches have been played, so teams will kind of know what they have to do. So will they open up? So we'll see what happens with that. And the other thing was just about national teams and their styles of play compared to like the big teams in their nations. For example, Spain, you've got Barcelona and Real Madrid, and they don't play exactly the same style of football, but they do want the ball, and they are top teams, so they're used to having the ball and being almost the aggressor. So they played, obviously yesterday, I think how many Barcelona players that were playing for Spain, it must have been about, like in total off the benches, probably about 6 possibly, if not more. Um, so yeah, like a team like England, you've got a team like England where you've got players from a lot of different clubs. You've got Man City. You've got quite about 6 players in the squad, I think, from Man City. Then you've got Liverpool, who have got they've got Trent, Henderson. I think that's about it for Liverpool. Then you got United, Rashford, Maguire, Shaw. Might be one more, I'm not sure. And then you've got other teams like Tottenham, Leicester, Arsenal. So you've got different, like possibly, like off the top of my head, probably maybe 7 different teams playing for the national team, players from 7 different teams. So you've got different styles of play, and then they come together. And I think England, they play like a 4-2-3-1, and Liverpool don't play a 4-2-3-1, although they've tried that, I think, in recent weeks or months. But generally, it's been a 4-3-3 for Klopp in his tenure. Man City is a 4-3-3 with Calvin Phillips. Possibly sometimes they might go to a 4-2-3-1 with him and Rodrigo. So Arsenal play a 4-2-3-1. Tottenham possibly as well. So you've got teams playing different formations, and then the players are used to a different style of play. Some are high pressing, some possession based. So it's a different way of thinking for a lot of teams. For national teams like Brazil, the players are up front anyway. They're all going to be flair players attacking. They want to do something with the ball. Who else is there? So it's something else interesting to look at, the way your national team represents the domestic teams as well, and how the players are utilized, whether like even through the youth ranks, teams play in the same way. And sometimes it can be a case of, so say England play a 4-2-3-1, and then you've got like could be the same case even with Foden. So how do you fit Foden into there when he doesn't really play in midfield for Man City, when he's like wide forward, like right or left? So that kind of structure, and that, like, for me, Foden is probably the top two players of England. Probably him and Harry Kane are the two like the best players, and then you can't fit Phil Foden in your England team, which for me says a lot about the culture as well in England. So these are like discussions that you can have a whole podcast about, really, and go a lot deeper. So I think that's about covered for today. Just have a quick look, if I can, to see what fixtures we have tomorrow. And the first game that we've got tomorrow is going to be Wales versus Iran. Second game is Qatar against Senegal. Third game, Holland versus Ecuador. And then 7 p.m. UK time, we have England versus USA. That's going to be an interesting match as well, England versus USA. I think England should come out on top there. Harry Kane, they said he's fit. How fit he is, I'm not sure. But USA, we'll see if they can keep that energy up for longer this time, or whether England will just be too strong for them in the second half. So possibly might not have a podcast tomorrow because I might be out for the England game. But if I'm not, then we'll have a podcast tomorrow. If not, we will have one on Saturday when we have that massive match between Argentina and Mexico. So thank you for listening, and we'll see you soon.